you know? And so that made sense to me. He puts me in a car. He says, I need you to listen to this Sandy Beach tape. Now, at this point in my life, like I'm like barely hanging on. And I'm using this woman like drugs, you know? Every time I need validation, I'm with this woman, and she becomes what the mask of success that the job created for me, which kept me from like really looking at myself. She became that for me in the interim. And he's like, you got to get rid of all of it, you know? There is no more work and no more romance for a year. You're going to have to give me a year. And I'm thinking like, I'm not going to be able to pull that off, you know? And right away, I'm half measuring, and this is my wiggle room. I can't. And he says, I need you to download this tape, this Sandy Beach tape. Sandy Beach is a big speaker. And in this...
What was the speech?
Yeah, the speech was, he was talking about this Chinese farmer. And this Chinese farmer and his son, they're picking radishes about the ground. And they don't own the land that they're farming off of. And they're barely subsisting. They're giving 70% to the landowner. They're living off of 30% of these radishes. Their whole financial legacy is tied up into this workhorse. And one day, and the son is really working the land because the man is too old. And one day the workhorse runs up off the hill. He just fucks off. He's up the hill. And the son runs into the house and he shakes his dad up and he says, Dad, you're not gonna believe this is a travesty. We're gonna die out here. I can't get these radishes to grow unless I turn this land over, and I can't move that hoe without the horse, and the horse is gone. This is a nightmare. And the old man, nonplussed, looks at his son. He goes, I don't know what this is, son. I don't know if it is a nightmare. I can't call it. And the son thinks his dad's out to lunch, or like ambivalent, or something's wrong, or he's too old. And a couple days later, the kid is chilling on the porch, and he sees the horse running down the hill with 50 wild stallions behind it. And they run into the paddock, and he locks the paddock, and he runs inside, and he hits the dad. He's like, man, this is, fuck radishes. Like, we're rich, you know, we're in the horse business. We're in the horse trading business now. This is a miracle, Dad. I'm gonna go tell everybody we're trading horses now. And the father looks at his son, nonplussed again, and says, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's a miracle. I can't call it. And a couple more days pass, and the son's trying to break these horses down, domesticate these horses. He doesn't know anything about horses. He's a radish farmer. So one of the horses ain't having it. He rears up, kicks him in his leg. It's like 1400s China. There's no Kaiser Permanente. His shit is shattered. They wrap him in some like tobacco leaves and sprinkle some mint on it. Go sit in a chair for a while, and he's wailing, and the townspeople hear about it. And the townspeople run up on the little shack, and oh man, what are you gonna do? You know, you can't domesticate these horses. You can't move this hoe. You guys are fully fucked. I don't know what you're gonna do, but this is pretty much the end, right? Like, this is a nightmare. And the old man says, I don't know what this is. He looks at his son's leg. He goes, I don't know what this is. I can't really call it. A couple more days pass. He's sitting with his son. He's trying to calm him down. He's in the middle of pain, and they hear this thunderous noise, and they look up on the ridge line, and they see 5,000 samurai on horseback running towards their little hut. And the commanding officer gets off his horse and says, give us your son. We're going to fight the Maoist army. And he looks at his son's leg, and he looks back at the samurai army, and he goes, I would, but he can't get out the chair. You know, he can't get on his, he can't. No, I can't. I would, but I can't. He's crippled. And the man gets back on his horse, and 8,000 men ride off to their death. And I listen to this tape, and I'm driving back from the beach back to where I'm living, and I get out of my car, and her bags are packed. She's on her way out. And old me would have written a haiku poem in blood and ripped my shirt off Hulk Hogan style and ran down the street and jumped over the fence, and that guy, climbed the hair up the thing.
Boombox in the air.
Yeah, boombox in the air guy. That's what I came up on. And something in me, from having heard what I just heard, what feels like this is now I can't get no lower. I hear this like I can't call it. And it becomes like the most diplomatic breakup I ever had in my life. And I say, what can I do? And can I get you a car? And she goes, no, don't worry about it. Go get well. And I go walk into my house, and I call my dude up, and I'm like, man, I think this shit is working. Like, man, this is a miracle. Like, this is the most diplomatic thing I ever. And I'm in my meeting, I'm telling all the dudes, like, I think this program's really working in my life, man. And then I got 5 days sober, and they're like, bro, I think you're pink clouding. Why don't you go to another fucking meeting, Jack?
Man, Shia Labeouf hit the nail on the head with that one. You know, it's just God working mysterious ways. You know, when they lost the horse, all of a sudden it was, oh, woe is me, what's going to happen? But that man knew, like, nah, I can't call it. And I feel like when you say I can't call it, I bring it back to my own life, where it's, you know, I just know God got something better for me. This just ain't meant to be. As simple as that. Same situation happened to me where I got hired by the post office. I was excited. And in the first 90 days, I got fired. I ran something over in somebody's yard. It's a long story. Drop a comment if y'all want me to leave a video on that story alone. But I ran into somebody's yard, ran over like a light post. That light post was connected to the water valve that led to their house. I was in my 90 days, so they had to fire me. If I'd have made it after the 90 days, they would have protected me, they would have kept me, and somebody else would have just took over that route. Needless to say, I get home, tell my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife, I was like, hey man, lost my job, da-da-da. But I was like, I know God got something better for me. Like, literally, I knew it. I wasn't concerned like the little boy in the story. I more so had the father aspect where, okay, it's something more for me then. This God had something better for me. And literally, I lied to you not, within the next month, I had a different job, one that I'm actually still at now. I've been there for 5+ years. And I don't know if you know, you work at the post office, you work weekend, you don't get weekends off. I was working Monday to Sunday. The money was good, but I had no free time. And I needed free time back then. I had so much other ventures that I was doing. I had a clothing line. I had all type of different things I had going, but I had no time to do it. So when I hear I can't call it, that I literally have that mindset now. All right, if this ain't work out, cool. It wasn't meant for me to work out. It wasn't meant to work out for me. And God just got something better. And literally, I got a different job the next month. Good, great pay, got weekends off, and I'm still there to this day. So when you hear this story, you gotta know, and Shia Labeouf said it. He went back to his girl, and him would have been, oh no, woe is me. I can't, no. And now, after that, he ended up getting a wife. Like, you just can't, you just gotta just have faith that, like, no, I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm not gonna trip. I'm gonna have faith that God got something better for me. And if you keep that mindset, it's nothing you guys couldn't do, man. It's nothing that you won't be as timid and scared, because you know there's a higher power. God got so much more for you. It's okay. If it ain't work out, it wasn't meant for it to work out for you. It don't matter what's going on in somebody else's life. You can only worry about what's going on in your life, and just know and pray, and everything will be okay. But till then, leave like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna try to keep this up. Any other inspirational videos that you've seen, any of the clips, let me know. I love watching these and just the feeling I get, and I can just really relate to my own life when I see these stories. So I'm gonna keep pumping them out. Y'all enjoy, come back, share with a friend. We out. Everything's good.